welcome to another edition of Aspire TV. Today we have a special guest. She is empowering to woman. She's an actress. She is an inventionist. So we love her. It's Odette. She's great, and I'm proud to have her on my show today. Welcome, Ellie Escobar.
Yeah, I'll do the drum set.
Well, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Tell the fans, all the viewers, who is Ali Escobar, and where were you born, and what was your childhood like? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, those are very good questions. Well, I'm Eli Escobar, and I was born in El Salvador. In
El Salvador.
Yes.
What a beautiful country.
It is a beautiful country. Right now, even we have a new president, and he's doing amazing work with the country. He has brought the crime down significantly, like to zero.
That's amazing.
And it's crazy what he's done, and it's becoming a beautiful country to visit now, because before it was kind of scary with the gangs and all that,
Were there a lot of gangs?
Well, so here's the story, a little quick story. In my country back in the 80s and in like 70s, 80s, there was this civil war, right?
Yeah.
And so it was really scary then to live in my country because, I didn't know, my childhood was amazing. My parents made a really great point to bring me up, sent me to school, do my homework, and they worked really hard to give me what I needed, right? So up until like maybe 11 years old, 10 years old maybe, I was a child and everything was beautiful. And then you turn 10 and you realize there's something wrong with your country. And then one morning I start seeing like dead bodies on the street because
Oh my God.
Yeah, people were.
You'd be walking down the road, there'd be dead bodies on the road?
Yeah, they would be riding down the road, and in the morning you'll see a dead person there. And my parents tried to avoid me from seeing the body so it wouldn't stick in my head. But when you're a kid, you're so curious. You just want to see anyway out the window, right?
Right.
Like my parents are like, don't look aside, don't look aside. And me, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Oh
my God. Were there a lot of dead bodies on the side of the road?
Yeah, the thing is, back in those days, the government, we had a dictatorship, and then the government, the soldiers, especially the police, the soldiers were brutal to people, to regular civilian people. And they would, during that time, the scariest part was if you were detained by a soldier or on the road. Like we were once detained. I was 10, and my brother and I are 10 years apart, so he must have been like a year old, and he was next to me, and we got stopped by the soldiers. And here's this 10-year-old that has sees the soldier in front of her and has this M16 pointed at her, and my biggest
fear. Had a gun pointed at you?
Yeah, because they have these big guns that they stop you with, and they literally stand in front of you like this.
Are you kidding me? And you're 10 years old? How scary is that?
It's very scary. It really.
I'd have nightmares today over it.
It leaves an impression in you very young, and I lived in fear. I never really spoken about this. I'm writing a book right now, and it's all going to be in that book that I'm writing, and my experience. But I remember that night fairly well. We were coming back from my grandmother's house, and going to our home, because our home wasn't in the city. It was like away, like maybe in the suburbs. And these 4 soldiers stopped my dad, and he comes out and he opens the trunk of the car because they were looking to see if we were rebels. They were looking to see if we were subversive people, if we were supporting the cause, which was, the cause was all these students and teachers and peasants went to the mountains and started fighting a war against the dictatorship government, right? And anyone that supported them was either jailed or killed or whatever. And my biggest fear that night was, oh my God, they're gonna kill my mom, my dad, my little brother, and I'm gonna be raped, and then I'm gonna be killed. This is the end. But my dad, it's a really good speaker, and he negotiated with them, probably paid them some money, and they let us go. So I came to this country when I was just turned 14, and I never traveled in a plane. I didn't speak English, and my parents were so afraid for my life that they decided to let me come here. And having a son now, being a mom, I can't even begin to understand what it must be for a mom and a dad to have to put their little girl in a plane and hope for the best. you know
So you're 14 years old, you go on a plane. Now, when you're on this plane, where were you going to? Did you have family over here or
Yes,
something?
I was lucky enough to have family here, right here in my hometown, and it's here in Boston. And so it was, my uncle lived here since the early 70s. And so I came to his house, and in that house there was like 20 of us living at one point, because
Wow.
we all escaped the war. My other uncle and my other cousins and my other uncle, and so the
Did you
problem,
have to get a green card or did you automatically become a citizenship?
you eventually get a green card. You come with a student visa, you know, and you, with the student visa, you plan to go back to your country, but I was never planning to go back to my country. So, I
Well,
had
you're afraid for your life.
afraid for your life. Yeah. So we got our green card, and I'm now a citizen. 5 years later, we became citizens, all of us.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And and funny thing is, I for a year I had to live without mom and dad and my brother. They stayed behind because they had businesses to deal with. And I grew up from 10 years old up to 13, in fear of my life and my parents' life. And then I would hear bang 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 everywhere, and it was really scary. Like sometimes I would
So you
be,
always heard gunfire and everything constantly.
yeah, I would hear in my bedroom, from my bedroom window, gunshots.
I'd be hiding under my bed.
I would be like, oh my God, are they near? Are they coming? Are they going to come? Because that's what they did. They would come to your homes. They would take all of your family out and just bang, 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 the whole family. They would kill families for no reason at all.
For no reason.
Oh, I mean, they massacre. There's this very famous massacre. It's called El Mozote. Uh, Google it in the internet, where they killed 15. The battalion, the army battalion, killed 1,500 people, including women that were pregnant,
1,500 people for no reason.
because in their mind they were hiding the rebels in that town, in that village, and there was no rebels in that village. There were just
And probably most people in that town are poor, right?
very poor peasants.
Yeah.
They walk in there and they killed everyone, and they burned the church, and they put it. There's only one survivor from that massacre, and because of her, we know the story. Had she died, we would never know the story. And she tells her story, and she tells of how she heard her kids screaming. She says, I was hiding. I could hear my kids screaming, Mom, they're killing us. Mom, they're burning us. It's one of the saddest
That's
things.
horrible.
It was a horrible time in my country. Well, in 1986, they finally came with an agreement to stop the ceasefire. And now, for the first time in the past 4 years, this country has prospered. It has become the country that I always dreamed it would be, because we have this one president. He's only 38 years old. He's doing amazing things in that country. And
That's great. And that's so good to hear, you know? You love hearing that stuff.
I
So you
do.
came over here and you live with your aunt and uncle, your uncle.
Yep.
And then and have you lived with them and you still live with them, or did you eventually move on
So
your own?
eventually, my parents came after a year. I mean, I lived in fear over there, and then for a year, I still had to live in fear here, because my fear was I'm never going to see them again. I escaped. I came here, but then now they're over there. But after a year, they were able to come to live with my uncle as well. And then after a year, we were independent. We got our first apartment, which was really great. We had no furniture, and we used to go out in the street, which was really embarrassing because I never done this. You live in your own country and you have really good stuff. You have a nice home, you have nice things, you know, very humble, you know, nothing big. But then you come to this country, like you don't speak the language. You don't have any furniture, so you do what you only know. You don't have the money either. So we used to go outside at night and we were like, you know how people throw like furniture and stuff like that? We'd go outside when nobody was
Oh, go to take it. Yeah. The
to
things
get the
there.
furniture. And we were like, oh, I hope nobody from the high school is watching us. My cousins and I were so scared that kids from the high school.
You got to do what you got to do to survive.
But, you know, and
You
so.
got to be proud. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what? That's okay. We didn't have.
It's not like you stole it. They threw it out. You got it. My sister's done that and we finished things.
Yeah.
God bless her. You know, so don't ever, ever, ever. You've done amazing. So then you get your first apartment. You eventually you get it all furnished through that. And then as you get older, now, then when, well, we'll get into that, the acting and the movies and stuff. So did you start acting when you first got here or did you wait till you were older?
So I was already involved in the arts back in my country. I went to a private school. So after I went to in school over there, you go to school for academics until noontime. Then you go home and you eat lunch and then you go and do your extracurricular activities.
Mm-hmm.
So I did dancing. I was in the choir, the national choir of El Salvador. And then I was in the dancing group and I did some drama acting on stage. But when I came to this country, all of that ended because I didn't speak English. And when I tried to join,
so you had to learn English.
I had to learn English. I was learning English, but the first year of being here, I already knew English because I was like determined. I'm gonna learn it. I am going.
Not a lot of people do that. Good for you. You should be proud.
So like, thank you. I was so determined. I'm like, I am going to speak English. And then one day I'm going to teach English.
Yeah, I agree.
Now I'm doing now too. But I ended up not doing the acting anymore because when I tried to join the dance theater in my high school, the teacher said, well, we only take in kids that speak English well. So I was like, oh, okay. So that kind of died out right there. It kind of crushed me and I never pursued it again. And I also, when I graduated, when I went to my guidance counselor to ask if I could, to talk to me about college, he told me, oh, Miss Escobar, you shouldn't go to college. Even though I was an honors student, I had like A+ throughout 3 years in high school.
Why not?
Oh, he said, because I should just go to work for a retail store or be a clerk because I could never make it in college because of my English. Wasn't good enough for me to go to college.
That was very stereotyped.
And so I didn't go to college. I didn't apply. I was very crushed again. Another teacher crushes me. And I was like, okay, well, I guess. And
that's so wrong.
I didn't go to college for 3 years because I was this fear. Remember, I come from a country where fear is already inside of me because of I came from. And now I got this fear of I'm not good enough for something. And when you're young, you believe it, especially coming from a grown-up. And so my parents were very disappointed because they wanted me to go to college. And to date, I have never told them about that, why I didn't go to college for 3 years. It's going to be in the book, but I didn't go to college. And then one day working for this doctor who does holistic medicine, he's the one that encouraged me to apply for college, and I did it. And then I went back to college to UMass Amherst in 1987. And no, was it 88? Mm-hmm. 88. And anyway.
Did you get your bachelor's, I mean?
My bachelor's degree. I got my bachelor's degree in education and Spanish literature. And then I ended up teaching at the same high school I went to. I taught.
So you were a teacher at high school?
Yeah.
Right, are you still a teacher?
I'm still teaching, but now online courses.
Yeah, okay.
So you were. It's my own. Yeah.
So you're a teacher at high school. Yeah. So you've been a teacher for years, and you work with Spanish students to teach them English as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you teach Spanish.
Yeah. So I taught for 5 years, and I realized that I didn't want to do teaching at a public school because the systems are so screwed up. Mm-hmm. There's no freedom of teaching you. It's just really hard anyway. So, but something, Cynthia, I think it was something was always not there, right? So I after teaching there, I kept jumping from. I could only last at a job for 3 years, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta go to another place. I just was never put. I could never put myself.
You didn't feel home anywhere.
No. And then after working in this company for 7 years, where I got fired, which I had never in my life been fired. I got fired because I simply went to tell them that my boss was harassing me.
Your boss what?
Sexually harassing me.
So he sexually harassed you, and you went and reported him, and they fired you.
Yeah.
So did you have to go and sue them and everything?
I was gonna do that, and the lawyer said it's hard to do this. It's a long process, and talking to family members, they said don't do it.
Bull crap! You should have sued them.
Yeah, I should have. I probably had more money.
You know, you have your rights, and nobody should ever try to do anything to your body, and not allow ever to happen. That's not, yeah, don't ever. So you leave this job,
yeah.
And then what happens next?
So my brother was like, hey, didn't you always dream about going to California? Maybe this is your chance. Maybe this is your chance to do that, because you're now collecting unemployment. Well, actually, I got fired because I stopped working because they kept harassing me after me putting the grievance. I kept being harassed, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I was going to quit, and I was told, like, don't quit. Let them fire you so you can collect unemployment. So I got unemployment, and I wasn't really happy working there anymore anyway, because it was just like everybody was at me, and it was just crazy. And I just I took off to California February of 2016 with my son, because I thought he wanted to be an actor. And then we were in California for 3 months, because I have a cousin that is over there. For 3 months, we're in California. He did some gigs over there for back work. I love to be in there. I love California. I think I belong in California. But and it was my dream to go there and to
I like California.
Live in California. And
I go there every year in the fall.
Yeah.
I visit my cousins, and my cousin and my aunt, and then I do a girls' weekend with friends that grew up in Billerica. They grew up in Billerica, but they all live in California, spread out. So we get together every year. We pick one spot. This is our 5th or 6th year doing it, and we do every year. And we do a girls' weekend.
It's such a beautiful state. I really love it. And so when we came back, because I was offered a job like $90,000 for an insurance company, health insurance company, as an analyst. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's a lot of money. So I'm like, Carlos, we got to come back. And we came back, and I was due to work April. I came back April, the first week of April. I was due to work the second week of April. And on the first day of my job, of going to my new job, I got hit by a woman. Hits me in the back of my car.
You got hit?
Yeah, she hit me. And
because I'm having your voice is a little low.
She hits me in the back of my car. And
in the back of your car. Okay.
Hits me to the car in front of me.
God bless you. Yes, lucky you didn't die.
No, that's what the nurse said at the hospital. I was like, the airbag comes out. I lost a little bit of consciousness, because when I came back, I'm like, huh? I'm like, I see the paramedics, and he's like, we're taking you to the hospital. Anyway, I end up with a concussion for 6 months. Now, I can't have these insurance company people wait for me for 6 months to get well, because they have waited for me for 3 months. So I said, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to give up the job. So for 6 months, I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. I was just home and living off my savings, because I didn't have unemployment. And I had to do the lawyer thing for the accident, and I got some money, but the money I got was just enough to get me another car, because I didn't have a car anymore. And it was during those 6 months where I started sort of like, there was an event with Imagine Magazine in Boston. I think it was the 18th or 19th anniversary. And it was
I remember that.
Yeah.
The party. Yeah.
So it was like 5 o'clock, and I see this ad on Facebook. It pops at me, and I'm like, come to this event today at 7 o'clock. And I'm like, I run upstairs, and I'm like, Carlos, you want to go to this event? It's about acting. Let's find out what acting is. We know what acting is like in LA, but let's find out what acting is like here in Boston.
Was it for Boston casting?
You know the market.
Yeah.
So he's like, Mom, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to be an actor.
Yeah.
But I think you should be the actor, and isn't that what you wanted to do when you were little and that was your dream? I said, yeah, but I'm too old. He goes, Mom, you're not too old. Go. He's like, I'm a man. Go live your dream. Go live your life. It's time for you to live your life. You brought me up. Now go leave. I said, okay. So I got dressed and I said, but I don't know anybody. No. When have you needed anyone to go anywhere? You
Right.
do things alone, Mom. I'm like, that is true. So I got dressed with my nice little black dress and I went to the event and I met so many people. I met so great people, directors. And that was 2016, June. In July of 2016, I took a class with Boston Casting about how to be a successful actor in New England. I took all the notes. I applied everything that I learned and I became a successful actor in New England.
Well, that's wonderful. And that's what you're doing now.
That's what I'm doing now. And
So,
I'm where I'm supposed to be.
exactly. And so we're actually at the end of our time. It went by quick, huh?
Yeah.
So what is the last word you would like to encourage other women, empower other women? What is something you want to say to them? And we won't, are you coming with us on our first weekend trip for the girls' weekend?
When is it?
We're going camping and going tubing down the river.
No, I'm not gonna be.
Well, we'll see you at a future event. We don't know what's happened this year, the pandemic, but please, Ellie, tell these folks where they can find you if they want to find your work and see some of the work you've done, like for acting. Tell them your IMBD, right? And tell them any of your social media pages and give some inspiring words to the viewers. Go ahead.
Okay, so you can find me at Ellie Escobar, EllieEscobarActor.com. That's my website, and Ellie Escobar Actor in Instagram. It's my Instagram account, and it's probably the best way to contact me. Ellie Escobar Actor at Instagram through Messenger if you need any questions. I get a lot of people messaging me asking me, how can I start my acting career? So I now teach a class for aspiring actors on how to.
And how can they sign up for that, please?
They can contact me via Ellie Escobar Actor at Instagram. Okay.
Well, this has been amazing. You are an amazing woman. Very inspiring story.
And I just want to say something for to encourage other women who are my.
Yes, please do.
It's very simple. I always say very simple words. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do something. Don't let age stop you. Don't let the fact that you think you might be ugly to not do something stop you, because sometimes we are so hard with ourselves and how we look. So if you have a vision, if you have a dream, it is never too late to start. Just jump into it. That's it.
You got a good point. Thank you, Ellie. And Ellie Escobar, she's an amazing woman. She's been a great guest today. And from our living room and office to yours, thanks for tuning in. Till next time. Bye.
Adios.